Hello and welcome back to Movies That Matter, the podcast where entertainment is subjective, and that's not a bad thing. This is your host Chris Flaherty here in the podcast studio at Burlington Cable Access Television. And here we are on Friday the 13th of all days to discuss The Invisible Man, released on February 28th, 2020 by Universal Pictures. It was directed and written by Lee Whannell and based on the 1897 novella by H.G. Wells. The film stars Elisabeth Moss, Aldous Hodge, and Storm Reed. Now I would like to welcome my guest today to talk about the film with me, Nicci Kadilak, author, writer, and editor and founder of Burlington Buzz, a daily news publication here in Burlington, Mass. Hi, Nicci.
Hey there. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, I am thrilled to be on this side of the podcast, Mike.
I know you've been very busy lately in here as we get towards Burlington election time.
Woohoo.
Now we get to talk about something much more serious.
Yes.
All right, so we'll just get right into it. Nicci, in your own words, can you tell me what this film is about?
To me, the movie was about somebody who is plagued by the behavior of somebody who is supposed to care about her. Mm-hmm. And that person just makes her feel like she's insane. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you're ever questioning at any point as a viewer whether or not she's crazy, but everybody around her is.
Yeah.
And it's really that sense of futility and that sense of helplessness that you get when, you see something and you know it's true and nobody else around you is on board with it. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the central tension. And really, I also think it's a little bit of a kind of empowerment story, somebody taking things into their own hands multiple times and having strength and resilience through something that was just unspeakable and very, very difficult in life.
Mm-hmm. How did you first discover this film?
Oh, this is a fun story. Do you know the answer to this?
No, I don't.
I didn't tell
me.
You? Okay.
No.
Well, I was at the tattoo studio a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And my favorite thing about Pinot Bros Tattoo in Cambridge and Waltham is that they have huge TV screens.
Okay.
And you can see them from pretty much anywhere in the studio. Mm-hmm. So as I was getting my tattoo, we sit around for like 8 hours together and we just watch movie after movie after movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so the way that artists communicate with each other is through movie one-liners.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah. So I'm not super fluent in that vocabulary except for a couple of my favorites, but yeah. So I said, listen, I don't know what I want to watch, but turn something on. And he said, well, this one's a good one, and he turned it on. I'd never heard of it before. Elisabeth Moss is one of my favorite actors. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, anything with her in it, I will definitely be behind. And yeah, so that's the story as I was getting an 8 hour.
This is a recent discovery for you.
Yeah, this was just a couple weeks ago.
Cool. And you shouldn't have told me there's a tattoo studio in Waltham. Because
my favorite artists, and it was one of my favorite places to be.
Awesome.
Fun to hang out there.
So what stuck out with you when you first watched this film?
What stuck out to me? I think, again, that story of sort of strength of the main character, Elisabeth Moss, who plays Cecilia. She was just such a strong character. And like, there were so many times that she could have just succumbed. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
There were times when with, domestic violence, there were times with, feeling like she was crazy. There were times when she was even like in a mental institution and medicated, and she could have just been like, you know what? Fine. Mm-hmm. I am going to, I'm going to nope out of the situation in any number of ways, but she didn't. And so that was one thing that stuck out to me. I think there were also a couple, like the suspense building was really good in this movie. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of long shots where you sort of get the impression that she's being watched without ever seeing who's watching her or seeing that she's being watched. And so you just kind of get this feeling, right? And you're kind of waiting for the shoe to drop. You're waiting for the jump scare, but when the jump scare finally happens, it really happens in a very, sometimes very graphic way, sometimes in a very surprising way. So yeah, those were a couple things that stood out.
Yeah, I keep thinking of like she goes outside at one point because she thinks someone's entered the house and like it's cold out, so her breath.
Yes.
And that was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and it was like I feel like that was confirmation number one, right? That was
Yeah.
the first real confirmation point that she's actually not crazy. And of course, you know that the book, said the book again. The movie is called The Invisible Man.
Right.
You know there's got to be an invisible man involved, unless
Yeah.
it's like very metaphorical and you know, all in her mind. And so, but you don't really know. You don't really get the confirmation until you see that breath right next to her shoulder.
Yeah,
And then you just, I mean, it's just, you feel the vulnerability that she must feel in that moment, you know? But also I was like, why doesn't she just close the door real quick and at least she'll know if
Right.
the door opens that,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
And I think about when she finally found the suit, and like that's when the music starts swelling. I was like, oh, okay. Because like the music was pretty subtle up until that point. And then like it's like the composer woke up.
Yeah, yeah.
You've mentioned the book a few times.
I have mentioned the book a few times. I don't mean to, but I
No,
was
that's
sort of
okay, 'cause my next
consuming them both concurrently.
My next question is, what's your relationship with the original book?
All right, so this is a fun anecdote, and keep it or don't keep it.
I'm gonna keep it.
So this is a fun anecdote. When I was little, I had these little tiny classic sort of briefs. They were the whole story, but they were like written for somebody that was like 12 or 10 or something.
Yeah.
And so I think I was probably like 8 or 9, and I would like consume these little mini books when I was supposed to be sleeping at night. You know, my parents were downstairs like going to bed, and I'm just like sitting here.
Flashlight.
Yeah, right? Like reading these books and consuming them. So I know that I read The Time Machine. I know that I read The Three Musketeers. And there were a lot of other of those classics that I did read. The Prince and the Pauper is one that sticks out. I don't recall reading this one. And so when you mentioned the book, I was like, I don't think I've actually read that. Well, now I feel like I have to. So
You didn't have to.
I did not have to, but I decided that it would inform me more about the sort of cultural significance of this. So I did read it, and it was fascinating. A couple things that I noticed about the book as I was reading it. One is that it's called A Grotesque Romance, I think is the subtitle. And I thought that was really interesting. You know, reflecting on it at the end of the book, what was the romance with? There's no romantic, there's no love interest. There's no romantic relationship. And I think it was the idea of the main character, what was his name? Griffin, I think, romanticizing the idea of invisibility, really. And once he had attained that, then he couldn't enjoy the fruits of that. And he physically says that at one point in the story, you know, like, well, once I was invisible and I couldn't enjoy being invisible. I can't eat food because people could see the food, and then I would give myself away, and I can't do this and I can't do that. I can't go out in the rain. I can't go out in the snow. And so I just felt like, it felt like a grotesque romance in the sense that like he thought he wanted this thing and he wanted it so deeply. And when he finally got it, he was just like, well, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
And then he couldn't really kind of cure himself from that.
It's interesting because like it sounds like, and I will read the book now.
Now you must.
Yeah.
It is technically a novella, but
Okay, that makes it easy, and it still counts on Goodreads. So it still counts. It sounds like in the book, the Invisible Man is his own victim, which is interesting because now in this movie, he's the one causing all the problems.
Yeah.
For his own victim.
Right. Yeah, and I think like that whole domestic violence gaslighting sort of situation, that is a very 2020s thing to be talking about. And I don't think they're, you know, in
back in the day, they were just like, oh, she's just crazy.
Right. In 1897 England, I don't think that's what they, you know, that just wasn't on people's minds, right?
No, it was not, no.
It was also fun to read. I actually listened to it because I knew I could consume it faster if I did. But it was fun to listen to the kind of vernacular because it was written in England in 1897 in, is it Surrey, I think? And there were a lot of like just old school kind of terms or like country sort of slang that people were using. And so that was kind of interesting too, because as a writer myself, I sort of live by the adage that like if it is going to distract from your being able to read it, you could suggest at somebody's accent, or you could suggest at somebody's, the way they speak, but focusing on it just detracts from the story, right?
Yeah.
And so, but it's a difference, right? It's a difference from 1897 to 2023 when I published my book.
Yeah.
One thing that's not different, though, that I did know at the beginning of this, or maybe it was I can't remember. At the beginning of the book, there was a foreword by some academic, and it talked about how the other literary authors of the time, they dismissed H.G. Wells and really just didn't get along with them.
Interesting.
I was fascinated by this because I think, and from what I was listening to in the story, because it's sci-fi and it's not seen as like literary work. Okay. And I absolutely 1000% ran into that when I was writing my book, because my book is speculative fiction, which is a genre of sci-fi, and that kind of debate and battle between the different genres of the different written genres has been in existence for over a century, right? Like people still like thumb up their nose at sci-fi. Like there are book clubs that won't even touch a sci-fi or speculative selection, which to me is like, what? Like that's some of the best books, some of the best writing. I just finished reading Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir.
Oh,
phenomenal. Why would you not want to read that book?
I know. I'm tempted to try and finish the book before I go see the movie.
Oh man, I listened to it.
I think I might just wait for the book after the movie. I don't know.
It's a really, really good book. I haven't seen the movie yet. I really can't wait to see it, but I highly recommend that book.
Yeah. Side note, I love hearing old beef about old like authors and writers.
Yeah.
Like, really nobody liked H.G. Wells. That's crazy to
I
me.
know. And like you listen, so there were a lot of those authors that I didn't even know about until I was like taking some writing class in 2022 or whatever. And I had never heard of any of those people, but I had definitely heard of H.G. Wells.
Right.
So who wins that argument, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite things is apparently C.S. Lewis and Tolkien hated Walt Disney.
Oh.
Apparently, Tolkien sent Disney some hate mail every now and then.
That's fascinating.
And then I guess the two of them went to go see Snow White, but like they hate watched it.
Of course they did.
So like think like the two
notes?
old. I don't know. So think like the two old guys in the Muppets, like just watching Snow White.
Yes.
So it's always interesting to hear about the beef of the past. All right, shooting a fish in a barrel here. Who among the cast really sticks out to you?
Oh my gosh! I mean, of course, Elisabeth Moss.
Yeah,
she's fantastic, and really, like she's the centerpiece of this story. The James, I can't remember his name, who plays
Aldous Hodge.
Aldous Hodge. Thank you. I mean, I love him in anything.
I wish. What else is he in?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I've seen him in stuff that I'm gonna look it up while I'm talking.
Yeah. The only other thing I've seen him in is the Rock superhero movie Black Adam.
Oh,
where he was Hawkman.
I have not seen that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't think a lot of people did. So
yeah, I do recognize him though. I don't know what else he's been in. Was he? Hold on. Yeah, Black Adam, One Night in Miami, Hidden Figures. Maybe that's where I know.
Oh,
him from.
okay. Yeah.
He was apparently also in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Which one is that?
That's
the fourth one?
Yippee-ki-yay one, I think.
I don't remember.
I think it was either 3 or 4.
Wow, he's that old?
Yeah, apparently so.
Okay.
I mean, this one came out in 1995.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay.
All right. I appreciate you not finishing the line.
You're welcome.
Makes my editing a little easy. But yeah, she really carries this film.
She really does. I mean, she's just a fantastic actor. I've seen her in other things. Of course, like she's most famous for The Handmaid's Tale, which I watched religiously every single episode. Very similar kind of storyline to my book, which
I would say it was a big inspiration for your book, right?
It was, yeah, they're connected anyway. I really love the way she can just emote on screen, and she just really brings you into that sort of, like I was saying earlier, that helplessness that she's feeling, and that just raw emotion. Like she's not afraid to look like to ugly cry on screen, which is my kind of one of my favorite things about her.
And she has to a lot.
Yeah.
Particularly the restaurant scene.
Oh my gosh. The restaurant scene.
I lost my mind.
I lost my mind. I wasn't. So we mentioned at the beginning, I was at a tattoo studio. Okay. And the way I had to face, I actually didn't get to watch much of the movie the first time.
Okay.
So I would be taking breaks and I would be sitting up. And that's one of the times that I sat up. They're like, Nicci, watch. Should I? I don't know if I should. Yeah, that was just like, what?
Yeah. One of the few times you get an audible expletive out of me watching a movie. Because, man.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what everybody in the room said. Yeah.
I know.
And then I actually rewatched the whole thing so I could, actually talk about it with my husband over the last few nights because we only get a small window every day to watch TV together.
That's fine.
But when that happened, like I jumped again. I was just like, ah!
I know. I remember just like waiting for it. Because like they keep talking and talking. I'm like, just do it. Just rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah. I mean, her sister, and now I can't remember her name at this point, but her sister does such a great job at just being like, yeah, we've been to a restaurant before.
I assume you order food.
Right. It was so funny. And the waiter too, like what a fantastic way to act that role.
He had one job and he nailed it.
He nailed it. Yeah. He was just so energetic. Like, hey guys, how you doing tonight? It was great.
Just the typical, like, you know what? I'm in customer service. I'm going to be happy. And if you're not, whatever.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first time I watched this, and then they hauled her away to the mental institution.
Oh, man.
And then it fades to black, and you hear him say surprise. And it's like the final confirmation.
Yeah.
And it fades to black. I'm like, I swear to God, if this is the end of the movie, I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh, man. It could have been. It could have been like...
That would have been bleak.
If this was a series, that would have been a really good mid-season cliffhanger, I also thought there was, I don't know if we're going to get to this, but I thought there was just a lot of really nice symmetry in this movie.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah. So, that scene, of course, where it sort of replays in the reverse at the end of the movie, which I don't know. Are we doing spoilers? Are we not doing spoilers?
Yes, this movie's 6 years old. So
if you haven't watched it, watch it before we talk about this.
Yeah.
So, the way the sister gets offed and then the way the boyfriend gets offed is like just so parallel and symmetrical, and the way she said then afterwards, like, surprise.
Yeah.
And speaking of ugly crying on cue, that was
unhinged.
I just watched this part last night, so it's very fresh in my mind. And she comes out of the bedroom or whatever, and she's just like, oh my God, and she totally nailed that. And you watch her in the security camera back up to where she knows she's out of view, and her face just goes slack, and she's just like, surprise. It was just wonderful. And then the final point of symmetry, I think, was at the beginning and at the end, right? So at the beginning, like, she's escaping this home. She's terrified.
Right.
She's shaky. She's breathing heavy. She's dressed like she's, going out for a jog, And at the end, when she leaves, she's got her head held high. She's not worried about anything. Her heart rate, steady 62. Right then, it was just such a really beautiful juxtaposition of like her clawing back every single bit of her life that he had taken from her, and standing tall at this sort of high point in the, I don't know where exactly it was, like in her home that I assume she had designed. I don't know if we're talking about the architecture, but holy cow, that house was beautiful.
Yeah, very West Coast, I don't even know what I was going to say. I was going to say brutalist, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like so open, and all of the windows. It was very modern and huge. I mean, enormous.
I forgot she was an architect.
She was an architect, yeah. I kind of followed that through because she had the sweatshirt on at the beginning that says Cal Poly Architecture. So I was like, did she design that house? I'm really curious, but I bet she did.
That'd be interesting. Kind of designed her own prison in a way.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not, so I don't want to put words in the movie's mouth. But
I mean, for some reason, this guy's a multi-billionaire in optics.
Yeah.
And he's a garbage person.
He is a
But hey, maybe that says something larger about billionaires.
Oh, I I'm not going to comment on
No,
that.
we'll move on. We'll move on. I don't get to always ask this question, but how many times have you watched this film?
Well, I've watched it I want to say 1.25 times.
Okay.
Because the amount that I actually got to see at the tattoo studio was not much, but I did get to see a lot of the key moments. Then I watched it over the course of the last 3 days at my house.
How was it watching it with your husband? What did he think of it?
I think he liked it more than he expected to.
Okay.
He right before the second before they revealed that it was some kind of invisibility suit or whatever, he said it. He was like, all right, this guy works in optics. So he described to me, he's super smart. He just described to me like how the suit actually could work, and how it has cameras all over it. So it can kind of project what you would be seeing.
That's what those were. Okay.
Yeah. So it's sort of fascinating, just all of it. But yeah, so the idea that I get from what my husband told me is that you have let's say a camera on the back of your head showing what you should be seeing, and then projector on the front actually projecting it outwards.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there were just hundreds of mini cameras on that thing.
So this is very rooted in realism, because I was just like, oh, it's sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I don't know how I say rooted in realism, and I say rooted very lightly. But
right, and I think that sci-fi has to pay off somewhere, right, to some extent. And I'm sure that there are experts in optics who would be like, well, this wouldn't work and here's why. But I think to the average person, seems feasible to me.
Yeah, so that's what I was like. Yeah, sure. Yeah. That works.
Mirrors and cameras and great. Yeah. Checked off the boxes to make it believable to the average person.
Yeah. And we were talking about the book, how he couldn't eat, he couldn't go out and anything. And I was thinking, while I was watching the movie, and he was hiding in the attic of the house for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, so could he eat or go to the bathroom?
Right. Or when he was in the mental institution with her. Mm-hmm. How is he going to the bathroom?
Yeah.
How is he I don't know. There's a lot of.
You don't want to overthink it, because then it ruins.
Right. Exactly. But I will tell you, in the book, he's naked.
Oh.
Right. So in order to be invisible, he has to be naked. So it's weather is a component for him, and eating and being seen through his body or whatever. That's an important aspect of the book.
Okay.
And this sort of it eliminates that aspect, and also eliminates the need to figure out chemically some feasible way to make yourself actually invisible, right? So you can just put a suit on and you're invisible. That's a lot easier to,
yeah, sure,
to explain.
Mm-hmm. How do you think this film is a reflection of just your taste in movies and stories?
Oh, that's a great question. First of all, I didn't know it existed until 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So, I don't do a whole lot of looking at, pop culture or anything like that. But I do, if something's recommended to me, I almost always will watch it. I mean, there are movies that there's one movie called Night Bitch.
Is that the Amy Adams one?
Yes.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. Somebody recommended it, and I was like, well, that sounds not something I would watch. That was a phenomenal movie, right? Oh. And there are books like that too. Pretty much if anybody recommends something to me, I'll read it. Mm-hmm. I would say my taste is number one, first and foremost, sci-fi. Mm-hmm. I really like the what if questions and the existential crisis that I get when I read about outer space and things like that. So I really like sci-fi. And so this definitely was a pop culture appropriate treatment of sci-fi. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think that does represent my reading and watching tastes for the most part. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I guess this is horror adjacent. Do you typically gravitate towards horror, or?
I would say, as a kid, I grew up watching Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday
As a kid, you grew up watching.
I know. Don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't ask any questions. No, I did. I would watch Nightmare on Elm Street with my mom. Okay. We would watch The Hitcher and other sort of thriller horror movies. And then, when I got into my 20s, I sort of stepped back a little bit from that. Mm-hmm. So horror, not necessarily my favorite thing. Mm-hmm. I don't like like The Ring and
Yeah.
those kinds of horror style movies. I'm not a fan of like the Chucky genre or the poltergeist style drama or anything like that. I used to watch that stuff when I was younger, but I don't know. I tend to gravitate towards suspense and thriller.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Not so much horror.
Yeah, I think like this new age of horror movies I'm more interested in.
Yeah.
Like this, A Quiet Place, Get Out, like anything Jordan Peele has done.
Right. I was going to say that same night we actually watched Nope. What
a double feature.
Yeah. And there was another one that they turned on. I think it was called The Invitation.
I think, I know that one.
It was like about a cult. I didn't really.
Yeah, she like marries into a cult type thing.
Something like, I don't know, man.
That's not one I want to watch.
No, I wasn't a fan. And I think overall there was a little more violence than I like to see in movies. There wasn't a ton of violence. I'm just not, I don't know, like especially the throat slitting. That was just very graphic for me.
The throat slitting didn't bother me so much as the pen to her wrist.
Oh yeah, that bothered me too. At least that was like in a movement of empowerment, you know. But
it didn't empower me. I had to look away.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't say it was like super violent. Like I also watched The Pit, which is a medical drama that has a lot of graphic stuff in it. But I think medical stuff is different from like violent. Graphic violence.
People keep telling me to watch The Pit, so I understand what my wife does at work.
Oh, I didn't know that your wife did medical things.
Yeah, she's a nurse at Beth Israel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, The Pit is really good. Highly recommend.
Yeah, she wants me to watch it, but she doesn't want to watch it.
Fascinating.
Because it's too close to home for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you
so
don't
leave me in a room
like...
and watch The Pit. Okay.
You can binge it while she's at work one day. It's fine.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I get not wanting to go to work all day and then come home and watch the same thing that you just did all day.
Yeah, absolutely. We've already talked about like some symbolism and stuff. Any other like trivia or like, I don't want to say fun facts, but
it wasn't a very
things
fun
like
movie,
you really like you appreciated when you watched the film.
You know what I thought was interesting, and I don't really have an answer to my own question, so maybe it's rhetorical, but you know, there was this whole idea of money, and the brother who was coming as a representative of the estate and saying, you have $5 million to be paid in monthly installments of $100,000. Then she gives away $10,000 of that $100,000 to her, let's call her niece. It seems like a good friend's child, for fashion school. Everybody's super excited about it. And then like the money just kind of went away.
Yeah.
Like
it wasn't a big plot point.
Yeah, but it kind of underpinned the whole story.
Yeah, because the brother, and also shout out the brother, like the actor, I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
but he did a really good job of making me think like, oh, this guy's a victim too.
Yeah,
and then,
poor him.
No, as she says, the jellyfish version of his brother without a spine.
Jellyfish, I love that.
But yeah, like he visits her in the asylum, and he's like, all right, so obviously you don't have the money anymore.
Right, which I think is...
But you can if...
Well, and like, I mean, I think it was also like a really obvious setup, you know, at the beginning that like, oh, well, you can have this money as long as you don't have any mental health issues or aren't convicted of a crime. Like, I don't know. That's weird. I mean, it was definitely like very transparent, but let's see, what's the brother's name? Michael Dorman?
Oh yeah, that sounds right.
Tom? Yeah.
Yep, Tom.
Yeah. I also have to say, I'm really glad that she got to take Zeus home with her at the end.
Right?
I love Zeus.
I felt bad for when she had to leave him.
I'm know.
Like, what's his life like?
I know. And like, who's feeding this dog? And like, Adrian being tied up in his basement, like...
Yeah, I mean, that's the stuff. The more you think about the movie, it starts to fall apart. We don't do that.
That's okay. But yeah, so I guess, yeah, the only big question is like what happened with that money? Was it ever there in the first place? Was it ever real? You know, but the ending, I don't know. Do we have a separate question to talk about the ending?
No, but let's talk about the ending.
I really kind of liked the ending. You know, my husband was like, what is she going to do? Was she just going to go have this psychopath's baby? And I'm like... Maybe not. I don't know. I mean,
that was a question I wanted to ask. Do you think she keeps the baby?
It's a good question, and I don't know, and B, I don't know what I would do in that situation, because like, on the one hand,
Yeah.
new life. I'm a mother. I love my babies. And
Yeah.
on the other hand,
It was conceived under an RAPE, essentially.
Yeah. And so we don't really, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what she did. And I like that it was left open to interpretation, because the end of the story really is the story of her empowerment, and it doesn't have anything to do with the baby. It has to do with her being able to escape her circumstances. That's my opinion about it.
Yeah. Okay. We got some real serious topics right there for a second. We talked about the genre a little bit. What do you think separates The Invisible Man from other films in this category, in your opinion?
Well, like I mentioned before, I think it's like a pop culture treatment of a sci-fi story, which is kind of the only way some viewers can handle sci-fi. So I think it does kind of expand the viewership a little bit. If people are into thrillers and relationship dramas and things like that.
What do you think the important takeaways or like themes of this film are?
Ooh, I mean, I think that so this is 2020, which is important because I think the term gaslighting sort of took off around then.
Right.
And so this film was made before that word existed. And I actually wondered to myself if that word had been a more commonplace word, would it have made it into the film? Yeah. Because essentially what they were saying, what she was describing, is gaslighting without using that term.
Yeah.
So I wonder about that. Now I can't remember what your actual question was.
Important themes and messages, takeaways.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, anybody who has ever been in a situation in a relationship where they have been made to feel like the crazy one, when they know in their head, they know in their heart that what is happening is not okay, and that they have a clear-eyed view on what's going on, will see themselves, I think, in this story. And I think it's an exaggerated way to talk about something that really does impact a lot of people in this world. Yeah. So yeah, I think that would be maybe the main theme. And I think really too, the flip side of that, of like, once you get into a mental institution and you start getting medicated, anything that you say is suspect.
Right.
Right? You can't be trusted to be, and I'm saying this not because somebody can't be trusted, because other people do not trust you to be a reliable reporter of reality, of what's actually going on. And so even if you know for a fact that your grip on reality is so firm and strong, other people don't see that. And it just becomes such a helpless situation. So that helplessness and like taking reality into your own hands, I think she did that multiple times throughout the movie. So I would say that's another kind of theme.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this film has a lot to say about how we treat victims of abuse, how we look at mental health, and how we just view and treat women.
Yeah. It's funny that you, the man, say that, and I didn't think to say that. No, it's fine. But I do think that like there's a lot to it. There's a reason the word hysteria is used in female body parts, for example. I think that women are often sort of blamed for their own victimization, and ignored and not listened to, and they're just, you're just silly, you're just a crazy silly lady, and there's no solution, of course, that's presented in this film other than like just, pick up a weapon.
You didn't have to drug her instantly when you got her into the mental hospital. I mean, therapy is a nice thing.
I don't know,
just talk to her.
She was.
I mean, she was hysterical.
She was. See.
Sorry, I'm sorry. But also, just check the restaurant security footage.
Yeah, I mean that was also really insane, and it happened so fast. And I don't know how her hand got.
Yeah, because he had to put it in her hand.
And she had to grab it. Maybe it's just instinct. I don't know. But she held on to it for just too long for my comfort. I was like, drop
yeah, she was like
thing.
a little frozen.
Yeah. I'm sure she was like completely traumatized. But yeah.
Just thinking, if Olivia Benson was in this movie, it would have been over in 10 minutes.
Okay, tell me more about that.
I don't know, because it's Olivia Benson, Law and Order, Special Victims Unit.
Yeah.
Maybe I just got Law and Order on the brain.
Olivia Benson is one of my, I would say, I haven't watched SVU in a very, very long time. But when I did, I really gravitated towards her. She was great. I do, of course, in a film like this, it wouldn't be a film if all of those snafus didn't happen.
Yeah, if there was like a character with like logic.
Right, exactly. It's like, okay, come on. Like, why didn't you just do that? Well, because it wouldn't be a movie if they did. So I get it, right? It's not going to be a 90-minute feature unless some of these things just kind of happen. But yeah, I mean, if it was bad enough, there's other things she could have done.
Yeah.
Or like get in the car and drive away. He can't follow you on foot if you're in a car.
Fair. Yeah. It's just got me thinking, as like I'm going through like the Rolodex of like horror movies I've seen in my life, and I'm just thinking about like how like a lot of them have female protagonists, and they're often treated as like the woman who cried wolf.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just a general state of how women are treated in society. I think you're you're picking up on something real.
Yeah. So I'm glad she killed him.
I think I also am. I mean, I am not one to advocate for violence. I don't think that killing.
No, we're a family-friendly show here.
Yeah, right. So, but I mean, what choice did she have?
Right.
He wasn't going to stop. He wasn't going to, and he didn't admit to anything either. It's like, come on, man.
I know, he was gaslighting to the very end.
To the very, very end. And it was like, we know it was your voice. That when he said surprise,
right,
it was also his phone, which is circumstantial. But we did hear his voice say surprise. We did hear that. And so at that point, like, that was not the brother. So.
Yeah. Would you say this film is underrated, overrated, properly rated?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I mean, maybe underrated because I've never heard of it before. Do I think that it's Oscar potential? No.
That was going to be my next question, because it is Oscar weekend.
It is Oscar weekend.
Yeah.
No, it's a really solid, I think, horror sci-fi. And maybe it's underrated, but I only say that because I've never heard of it. That doesn't really mean anything,
I mean, in defense of this film, it came out February 28th, 2020, and then a few weeks later, something happened.
I don't know.
Something not that chill happened, and miraculously, it like made a good profit.
Did it really?
Yeah, after the world shut down. I think the budget was like 7.5, and it made like 28 million.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, it did okay.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, I think 2020 was a real turning point for just a lot of things in society.
Right.
And I think more things went to digital, to streaming services a lot faster.
Yeah.
After that happened, but I don't think I haven't seen it anyway in the last 6 years on a streaming platform, one of the ones that I own. So it. Like you have to pay money. You can't just watch it for free, which I think is that's I don't know.
Have you been listening lately? You know how I feel about this? Yeah, I bought this on 4K a few weeks ago.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, like physical media.
Oh,
love it.
Physical media.
Yeah.
Man, what is that?
I know. But, you're right. I watched this for the first time on Peacock.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. And so I think it does depend on what streaming services you have as well. Like we don't, I don't have TV or cable or anything like that. It really is just the streaming services. And so I do, there are things that we do purchase because,
if we like it, we want to watch it again.
If we like it, we want to watch it again. If we really like it, we want the people who are creating these films to have more, have more revenue as a writer. If somebody buys my book, I get $2.19. So,
is that for print or digital?
That's for print. I think I might get like $6 for digital. Yeah, for one book.
And where can people find your book, Nicci?
Well, that's not why I said that, I promise.
No, I was going to give you the time to talk about your book because we mentioned it a few times.
But I really do only talk about that to say, like, people do see residuals when physical media or digital media are actually purchased.
Right.
And so those do filter through. I don't know how much, Elisabeth Moss is seeing out of that, but, hopefully she made a good living on that film anyway. My book's on Amazon. It's called When We Were Mothers, and feel free to get it from the library too. It's at Burlington Public Library. You can get it on Kindle Unlimited, so another streaming platform, more or less. You could buy a copy, a physical copy as well.
Support physical media.
Support physical media.
Speaking of media, more media, apparently there's a sequel coming.
No.
It's been in development for a while. I don't know if we'll ever see it.
I don't need a sequel to that.
How would you write it if you had to?
Goodness. Okay, how would I write it? So, number one, I see forking options here. I see two different options. Number one, you open on the child. And the child is one of the key principal characters. Maybe not the main character Elisabeth Moss is going to carry, but you open on the child, and that's all I have to say about that. The other one, and I suppose this could exist in both versions of the story, is Elisabeth Moss is now the invisible
the invisible woman
man, right? Yeah. And I want to say she uses her powers for good. I don't know what kind of good things you can do with an invisibility suit. Like, I just don't see where that would go, and it doesn't seem compelling to me. But, maybe they'll tell a good story.
Both brothers are dead, and you're not going to have them come back and just do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it has to be something with the invisibility suit. What does she do? Does she take on a life of crime? Does she move to Surrey? And now I got to be sure it's actually Surrey. I don't know the answer to that question. It would be, I would watch it so I could talk about it with you. Yeah. But I don't know if I would enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. Why do you think people should see this film if they have not?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I think it's entertaining. It's not going to make you think too hard. So if you're looking for an escape, it's definitely right along that. If you like some intensity and some surprise and suspense and a couple jump scares, but nothing too bad, I think that it will definitely satisfy you from start to finish.
Do you think if COVID hadn't have happened, this film would have been bigger?
I don't know. I mean, you're saying it made $20 million in the box office. Yeah. So was it going to make any more than that? I'm not really sure. Possibly. I think everything could have made more money if COVID hadn't happened. Because people weren't going out, But I don't think it would have been this huge blockbuster. It's just a solid movie.
Yeah. And last question, why does The Invisible Man matter to you?
Why does it matter to me? I'm going to echo what I said earlier. I really enjoy the resilience. So the story of, taking control of your circumstances and overcoming them, even despite everybody around you saying you're crazy. So that's why.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicci.
Thank you, Chris.
This was fun.
That was great. Thank you for having me.
You were always welcome back.
I will come back whenever you want me to.
All right. What's going on with the Buzz? I know you got the magazine coming out soon.
Magazine comes out next week. Should be in mailboxes, which is wonderful. So that's the week of the 16th? I don't know what day it is. The week of March 16th.
Yeah. I mean, this will come out on this. This will come out next Tuesday.
Great. So hopefully people will have this in their mailboxes already by the time they hear this podcast. If not, look out in your mailboxes for it. I'm really, really excited about this magazine. We captured some really nice stories from the community this time around, and a really strong theme of togetherness.
Cool.
Which is really I
think that's important right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the reason that we do this work is to, connect people together. So that's a good one. We've got election reporting that's happening.
See you next Friday.
Yeah, I'll be here for the debate next Friday. I just finished recording all 4 podcasts with the school committee candidates. We're seeking information for profiles from the town meeting candidates. So really, like, the next 3 weeks are going to be very election heavy, and then continuing to report on daily stuff. Today we dropped a story about the police station being, under construction and under budget, which is great.
Love it.
And we'll keep covering the select board and planning board and all of the other cool things that we're sharing with the community each week.
Awesome. I'm glad I could help break up all the election coverage with this nice, lighthearted movie discussion.
Yeah, right. Yes, it's funny because it's like an entertaining and fun way to sort of cap off the week, and also like some heavy stuff. Yeah, we're talking about.
Perfect for Friday the 13th.
Yeah, perfect for Friday the 13th.
And Women's History Month in a way.
I love that you can keep all of these things in your brain as I am. I'm like, what day is it?
Well, I'm going to wrap up before I say something stupid. Folks, thank you for coming back for another episode of Movies That Matter. Remember, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts. I would also encourage you to subscribe to the Burlington Buzz if you're a local listener. And also check out Nicci's BCAT series, Burlington at Work, which you can find on YouTube as well. We didn't even touch on that.
We didn't, but it's a good show, and I hope people watch it.
It is a very good show, and you put a lot of work and effort into it.
Thank you.
So, if you'd like to get in touch with me about the show, you can reach me either at Gmail or Instagram at Movies That Matter Pod. You can also be my friend on Letterboxd at Chris Loves Films. At this time, my last 4 watches were, if you believe it or not, The Invisible Man, Monsters, Inc., Toy Story 2.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And A Bug's Life. One of those is not like the other.
Monsters, Inc. forever, though.
Monsters,
I love
Inc. forever.
that.
I'm doing a Pixar marathon at home to get ready for Toy Story 5.
Got it.
So it's been fun.
Listen, unpopular opinion, the Toy Story that nobody asked for.
The second Toy Story nobody asked for. Really?
Really?
Yeah. Folks, the real world is scary. Don't forget to love each other. When life gets too scary, immerse yourself in your favorite movie or piece of media. Don't worry about box office numbers or Rotten Tomatoes scores. Just watch what you love. Entertainment is subjective, and that's not a bad thing. Until next time, this has been Chris Flaherty with Nicci Kadilak. Thank you for listening to Movies That Matter.